Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're exploring facts about Francis Ford Coppola's longtime passion project, Megalopolis.
He's been dreaming of making this movie since I was a kid.
Number 10. How long it's been in development. It took Coppola nearly a decade to bring Apocalypse Now from script to screen. While wrapping up that production nightmare, Coppola was already conceiving another ambitious project that would take even longer to execute. According to Richard Beggs, who won an Oscar for his sound design on Apocalypse Now, they were late into shooting when Coppola envisioned, quote, this magnum opus idea for Megalopolis, which would be like a gigantic opera. While the idea came to Coppola around 1977, it wasn't until early 1983 that he officially started writing the screenplay for Megalopolis. Within 2 months, he had 400 pages of notes and pieces of the script. Yet it would be more than 4 decades until this materialized into a finished film.
When does an empire die? Does it collapse in one terrible moment?
Number 9. The premise and themes. From the screenplay's genesis, Coppola pictured a New York setting with echoes of Catalan Rome. While the script would be rewritten nearly 300 times, this central idea remained a constant. The film takes place in a version of New York City that's descended into destruction. Architect Cesar Catalina, played by Adam Driver, seeks to construct a utopian city from the ground up. Standing in the way of progress is Mayor Franklin Cicero, an authoritarian role tailor-made for Giancarlo Esposito.
And to me, it's the story of democracy.
Stuck in the middle is Cicero's daughter, Natalie Emanuel, who embarks on a personal journey in pursuit of life's purpose. The themes look to the past, present, and future, applying historical events like the Catalanarian conspiracy to modern America and where we're headed as a society.
That basically is a utopia.
Number 8. Actors involved throughout the years.
It was great. I mean, listen, Francis is the master.
In addition to the aforementioned actors, the stacked cast includes Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf, Jon Voight, Chloe Fineman, Lawrence Fishburne, Dustin Hoffman, and Coppola's nephew Jason Schwartzman, to name a few. Of course, Megalopolis has been in the works for so long that many stars spanning generations were attached at different points. Around the turn of the century, Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio, Edie Falco, Uma Thurman, James Gandolfini, and Paul Newman participated in table readings when the script was roughly 200 pages. In recent years, Coppola approached Cate Blanchett, Oscar Isaac, Jessica Lange, Jude Law, Michelle Pfeiffer, Forrest Whitaker, and Zendaya, although none of those casting choices panned out. Sonny Corleone himself, James Caan, also nearly reteamed with Coppola before his death in 2022.
What did he say? What did he say? Ba-da-beep, ba-da-bap, ba-da-boop, ba-da-beep. He wants us to send Michael to hear the proposition.
Number 7. Inspirations. Given the film's title, it's no surprise that Fritz Lang's 1927 masterpiece Metropolis was a key inspiration for Megalopolis. Perhaps even more integral to the film's inception was 1936's Things to Come, which screenwriter H.G. Wells adapted from his novel. Coppola says the, quote, seeds for Megalopolis were planted when he saw William Cameron Menzies' sci-fi film, which centers on, quote, building the world of tomorrow.
Give it to her. I'm done.
In addition to cinema, Coppola looked to literary works like David Graeber's Debt, The First 5,000 Years, Hermann Hesse's The Glass Bead Game, Riane Eisler's The Chalice and the Blade, and Francis Fukuyama's The Origins of Political Order, among others. As different as some of these inspirations may seem, many of them share themes of politics, society, and humanity.
This way we're living. The only one that's available to us.
Number 6. Crew members exit. Megalopolis finally started shooting in November 2022, although it wouldn't be a Coppola production if everything ran smoothly. Almost the entire visual effects crew was let go just over a month into filming. It wasn't long until the rest of the effects team left. This isn't the first time Coppola fired his VFX artists, running into similar issues with his Dracula adaptation. Megalopolis faced another setback when production designer Beth Mickle and supervising art director David Scott resigned, reportedly leaving the film without an art department. While it sounds like history is repeating itself, Coppola claims Megalopolis is, quote, on schedule. Adam Driver also defended Coppola, saying, quote, the only madness I've observed is that more productions aren't allowed to be as creatively wild and experimentally focused. Number 5. early reactions.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages.
On March 28, 2024, the industry got its first look at Megalopolis, as numerous A-listers and Hollywood executives gathered for a 10 a.m. IMAX screening. The reactions have been all over the map. One studio bigwig said, quote, "It's so not good, and it was so sad watching it," predicting the film would, quote, "lose money." On the positive side, another anonymous viewer, quote, "liked it enormously," although their studio isn't picking the film up. Whether good or bad, most attendees agreed that the picture would be a tough sell, with one saying, quote, "I find it hard to believe any distributor would put up cash." The early reactions have not fazed Coppola, who compared Megalopolis to Apocalypse Now, a divisive financial gamble that ultimately paid off.
A couple of guys said it's the worst film I've seen in 30 years, which was interesting because the same guys had said that Apocalypse Now was the worst film they saw in 30 years, which means this was only the worst film they had seen in 3 years.
Number 4, Coppola invested his own money.
Each week you say, well, let's go another week, and you're sort of financing it yourself.
Francis Ford Coppola is no stranger to betting on himself. His risk-taking methods have resulted in hits like Apocalypse Now, but also commercial flops like One from the Heart.
Oh, great. Run away. That's what you're good at. Terrific. There she goes, folks.
Wherever Megalopolis falls, it's arguably the biggest swing of Coppola's career. Even with some of the greatest movies ever made under his belt, Coppola couldn't get any of the major studios to bankroll his sci-fi epic. Coppola ultimately decided to self-finance the production in 2019. Selling a, quote, "significant piece of his wine empire," Coppola invested $120 million out of pocket. It's been rumored that costs have since grown, although Coppola claims that the film is, quote, "on budget." Akin to Roland Emmerich's Moonfall, the budget might be huge, but this production is technically an indie venture.
That technology, it's light years ahead of us.
Number 3, distributor wanted. While Coppola financed and produced Megalopolis through American Zoetrope, there's still a matter of locking down a North American distributor.
Don't let the now destroy the forever.
Although Coppola's lawyer Barry Hirsch says, quote, "everything is on the table," insiders doubt the director will agree to a streaming exclusive release. A champion of the cinematic experience, Coppola says he's, quote, "interested in a theatrical release in theaters and IMAX." Apple and Amazon MGM have been cited as potential buyers. Both seem like ideal homes for Megalopolis, considering that either could arrange a wide theatrical release. Even if Megalopolis isn't immediately profitable, these two media giants have between $80 and $100 million to burn. For now, Megalopolis is set to premiere at the 2024 Cannes Film Festival, while Le Pacte will be distributing the picture in France. Number 2, version scrapped after 9/11. After becoming consumed by various other projects, Coppola was committed to making Megalopolis his next picture in 2001. Aside from seeking actors, Coppola's crew shot nearly a half hour of second-unit footage in New York. These plans were thrown into uncertainty when tragedy struck on September 11th. Although Coppola knew he needed to rework the script, he still wanted to prioritize Megalopolis, even if he had to finance it himself. Given the real-world parallels, though, Coppola struggled to make a film about New York recovering from a disaster, saying, quote, "I just didn't know how to continue with it." Since then, Coppola made 3 other films, his most recent being 2011's Twixt. With Megalopolis coming out 13 years later, this is the longest gap in Coppola's filmography.
Mr. Collaborator, I thought we were a team.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, dedicated to Eleanor Coppola. After more than 40 years, Coppola fulfilled this artistic endeavor. Unfortunately, one of the most important figures in his life didn't live to see the film's release. Eleanor Coppola was Francis's wife of nearly 60 years. She was also a talented filmmaker, most notably shooting the documentary footage for Hearts of Darkness, a filmmaker's apocalypse.
On March 1st, I came to the Philippines with Francis and our 3 children.
On April 12, 2024, a little over a year after Megalopolis wrapped, Eleanor passed away at 87.
Eleanor was married to Francis for 61 years. She's also survived by her children.
In her memory, Francis released a teaser for his film, stating, quote, "Megalopolis has always been a film dedicated to my dear wife, Eleanor. I really had hoped to celebrate her birthday together this May 4th, but sadly that was not to be. So let me share with everyone a gift on her behalf." Are you looking forward to Megalopolis? Let us know in the comments. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.